So good afternoon, my friends from the world. Thank you very much for being here with me. Today I want to do a summary from a video that Sam Wagner just posted on his channel a few days ago, called "How to Fix the Social Media." I actually would have named the video "Damage Control of Conditioning and Addiction of Social Media." That's what I've named the video. Anyways. I will begin by the end, so this is a summary, so I can do it the way I want it. The sources are down below. According to a video about the summary and the video that Sam Wagner and Granda did together about the toxicity of the social media, they reached the conclusion, due to the results of the amount of suicides that are here in the UK, that 20,000 I guess, that the correct analogy that the social media was invented is pernicious, because it's a mind control tool. It's a brain working tool. And mind control, there are many videos on the internet that explain mind control and how governments use the manipulation chemically and with electricity and magnetism, mainly with electricity, the brain, in order to so that the person does something that is bad for her, but she does anyway because the kick, it's so good, or she cannot control the movement, or she cannot control the impulse. And basically, in my perspective, in my summary that I do, the person loses sovereignty over herself: spiritual sovereignty, intellectual sovereignty, emotional sovereignty, and creativity sovereignty. Basically, the consciousness goes down. Okay, and he explains that also on the other video, and on this one explains that the main values are the values of the first three chakras, the shadow side, envy, jealousy, those type of negative feelings, okay, and negative attention. So that's what he explains at the end of the video. Sam Wagner was invited by several governments from France and Bulgaria and others to do a suggestion that for laws that should be approved in the parliament of how to do damage control, or limited the amount of hours that people should be on Facebook or in social media. And I want to add that YouTube is not social media. Okay. I would have asked Sam Wagner to do a video. What are the things that the people should do in order, but themselves, as above so below, that the people should do in order to avoid, or to avoid, or to pass through the drops of raining water, in order to limit the addiction and conditioning. I can tell you what I did at the end of the video. Okay, so the suggestions. Sam Wagner begins the 1 hour, almost 2 hours, 1 hour and 49 minutes, explaining firstly 6 solutions. That's the first 20 minutes, and the rest explaining that how come the psychologists or the people, the advisors on Facebook, say that the Facebook phenomenon is new when it isn't. And then Sam Wagner quotes psychologists that know exactly. He does a parallel between the games that Facebook does with people, the conditioning and addiction, and the ones described by certain psychologists. Okay, so Sam Wagner begins. First of all, his first sentence says that France just prohibited the use of any type of device in schools that is harmful under the age of 18, and I totally agree. My daughter, she wants a mobile phone. I said, never, forget it. You can scream and shout and do grito do Ipiranga, you will never have it. Okay. And then he explains that or he gives some studies how doing certain or in certain age intervals how people are displeased and others are more pleased with Facebook. I would really like to know, um, even though some Wagner already explained, just because a person is highly intelligent, has a very elevated IQ, that does not mean they are emotionally literate. And I would like to know, how is the emotional literacy of the public, in order that they don't realize they're being conditioned. They are not able to learn by spirit. They learn by circumstance, okay? And the less emotionally intelligent you are, the more you learn by circumstances. So it's going to take you longer to learn a certain lesson in life, and if you learn by spirit, it's quicker, okay? Because you can predict the consequences, okay? Some Wagner continues to say that teenagers have understood that the social media is toxic. They are disillusional and disappointed. Yes, because they thought it was fun. It isn't. It's a business, and they don't get it. They are making business of your emotions, of your misery, of your envy, of your and has some Wagner explains that's perverse, and that, but it doesn't mention that actually that's the society we live in. We live in a society of misery, okay? That everything from the TV to the radio to the games that people play is to be under this lower than the fourth chakra, okay? So he suggests to have usage meters, okay? That the account is blocked or after 2 hours of usage, okay? All devices give you a feedback of a amount of usage, and Facebook does not have, but Instagram does. People spend 4.5 hours a day in social media. 4 times the amount of time they spend with their children, 2 times the amount of time they spend with TV. Social media needs to be forced, subjected to regulation, legislation, regulatory agency. These companies need to be penalized for their obey to this. Then the complete society needs to be penalized, because there are so many other examples like this. The self-regulation is going to fail. Look at Wall Street, okay? 58% continues of users of social media are trying to break free, okay? Number 2, all social media must be equipped with self-limiting clause. If you reach a level of usage per day, your account will be blocked. And there are similar laws about alcohol and other forms of behavior. 3, a minimum age. So you need 16 to drive a car, 18 to vote, and 21 to drink alcohol. So it should be, and something that you prove, okay? And studies, some Wagner continues to explain that study shows that resilience to conditioning / addiction are and addictive behaviors decrease with age. So after 26 years old, that's the reason why they are doing the teenage years between 15 and 16, because until 26 the brain is still very easy to be addicted, okay? The chances of developing a new addiction are very low, and the chances for conditioning are almost close to zero. That's the reason why they want to introduce the mobile phones very early, so that people are addicted. So they don't know life without phones. They don't know the life without TV. They don't know the life without certain, without internet, without VLAN, without those things. And that's the okay. Number 4. It should be a mandatory real-life correlation between people. So if you don't know them physically or intimate information about themselves, they can't be your friends. Okay, that's basically what he explains. According to some Wagner, the fact The social media creates a parallel universe. It's poisonous. It's an unreality. It's a virtuality, alternative universe. So basically, you are holding on to something that doesn't exist. Okay, that is essentially by any definition of psychology, psychotic, psychotic disorders. We must get rid of the unrealistic aspect of social media. Well, turn it off. Social media must be grounded in reality. That alone will eliminate 80% of the toxicity. Okay. Number 5. Curation in moderation must be mandatory. There are two phases. All message must be first curated and moderated by the recipient. There is no such thing as automatic posting. Okay, and he gives the example, some Wagner gives the example of the ISIS. Okay. We did the decapitations, etc., etc. And then you have a community of friends. Create a much higher quality of freedom of content and will get rid of all pernicious, criminal, dangerous content. That is known. Number 6, storytelling obligatory. That some Wagner makes fun of the peeling bananas post, and that is a 16-year-old that has I don't know how many millions of followers, that she posts peeling bananas. And he makes fun of himself that he talks about important things, and he doesn't get any views, and the girl peeling bananas gets. And yeah, that's because most of us, we live on the lower chakras. Ist nicht für die Feingeister. If we would live in a society that is for the Feingeist in order to live in the upper chakras, that then everybody would pay attention to the point of some Wagner about his opinions about geopolitics, etc., etc., etc. But not only you have to be extremely intelligent from the left side of the brain, you have also to be intelligent on the right side of the brain. So, and which means that you need to have a good electricity and magnetism within yourself. Okay. Okay, and then this is about the storytelling, and some Wagner mentions the psychologist called Boris Bettelsheim, that storytelling is very therapeutical. In psychotherapy, the reconstructions of the patient's narrative. We propose to the patient another story, yes, to see the facts from another light, and that is to relativize the things, okay? And then they feel better, okay? And according to some Wagner, Facebook is chaotic, discontinuous, and discontinuous, okay? Basically, it's disharmonical, and the body doesn't like disharmony, okay? Or, in order to function well, the thoughts, the emotions, the feelings, and the actions, there has to be a coherent, the story has to be consistent and coherent, okay? And in Facebook, it isn't. It creates, and some Wagner quote Sartre, ennui, and that's French, and Angst is German. And it creates anxiety. Yes, it does. If I would give you 3 random facts that are not correlated, and you would get or react with anxiety, even if there is no reason for anxiety. And my question is, why people don't stop and ask, why am I being anxious? There is no reason to be anxious. Okay, why am I being triggered? And the triggering is a very good. It's a source of information to heal your shadow, to heal your insecurities and vulnerabilities. Okay, but it's omniscious, malicious. Okay, and we already discussed in previous videos the difference between evil and tragedy. Evil is when it is done on purpose. Okay, it's per default, and tragedy is an accident. But if we put these 3 random facts in a story, there is no more stress. Storytelling is the foundation of everything. Okay? So, then it goes to the crux of the matter. Okay? To the point of the question. Okay? Most technology of the internet was invented outside of the United States. Okay? The firewall was invented in Israel, antivirus in Slovakia, or whatever country I wrote here. www was invented in Switzerland. Skype was invented in Lithuania. The only thing that is American is social media. Why? For many reasons. It is an expression of reification of avarice, greediness. So according to the counter argument that, we can only make money using the bad emotions of people, okay, because you won't survive. And it's the same argument that in Germany they use. We need to save the employees, workers, It's the same argument. Arbeitsplätze. Okay? So the business model is the following. We monopolize your attention, okay? And don't forget, the universe language, the language of the universe is energy, okay? And we all have a limited amount of energy. But the higher your vibration is, the more energy you're going to be, because you have done your shadow work. And you feel so good, and you are so confident with yourself. You just do what gives you pleasure, and that gives you more energy. Okay. We use your data and the fact that you are glued to the screen. We package it and we sell it to the advertisers. The real customer of the social media are the advertisers, not the users. Okay. They can survive by charging a fee. Of all social media should be compelled to move from monetizing to charging fees. In all previous electronic media, TV started as a free service, TV cable. The 7 large revenue than all the other networks combined. If you look at any type of industry, from the phone to the newspapers, they all started for free and moved to charging fees. They and the Zuckerberg and his team is capitalizing, and we are becoming a hysterical society with no institutional memory, no knowledge of history. Social media and internet is atemporal, creates a timeless space. We don't know which website was created before which, because everything is available constantly. It's not outlandish to suggest that social media reached the level of maturity in their history that now they must transition to a fee structure. That is the end of toxicity. Stop trolling to get rid of people that post cakes, bananas, etc. Political ends, social ends, get rid of relative posting. Okay, should be used for those purposes: political, social, etc. and likes. But I think that people are moving to the YouTube. They are not. Likes is by far the most venous aspect of the social media. Creates competition, not only against other people, but against yourself, competing with likes that you had yesterday and today. It is stickiness to see how many likes you receive. Likes were created to create addiction and conditioning. If you ask for a fee, you do not need that. Get rid of competition, anxiety, suicide, bullying, and trolling. The irony is that after a lag, when you put the fee structure based social media, there is a lag, a period of 2 to 3 years, and then the people adjust. Okay, that he says the New York Times has been making more money. Okay, but I have to add here that Chris edges that the viewers only spent 7 minutes reading the articles, and when they had the newspapers, the people they spent 40 minutes reading the articles. That's what they don't explain. Okay, and then Sam Wagner continues that he worked for Britannica, and now after doing this fee structure, they are more profitable than ever. Okay, young men like Zuckerberg, they were with very little limited experience. It was a coincidence that they had success. It was serendipitous business. They were not prepared for success. Millions of advisors, but they don't know how to decide. Their generation is truly ignorant and illiterate. The Generation Z is the most illiterate in the history of the United States. 45% have difficulty to read the bottle label. Well, if they are dumbing down the people, what do you expect? Miracles, you know. They are doing it on purpose. They, according to some Wagner, they suffer from Front syndrome, okay? And people that experience this type of success par hasard develop the inner conviction that somehow they are defrauding the world. They are only good at cheating the world. Some Wagner says that all executives suffer from this syndrome in social media. He's sure, some Wagner is sure that Zuckerberg feels fraudulent. Can I keep this another year? We do not know why social media worked and it succeeded. It was designed maliciously. Everything came to you. The design, the decisions, they were immoral. Okay. So, description, and then he goes to another topic. It's the discrepancy of the input of the environment, how you perceive reality, real reality, and your perception. Okay, we already discussed on the presentation from Dr. Jerry Cross the 8 taboos from psychology and versus quantum physics, that you have all the possibilities, but the electron decides, as if he knows he is being observed, which action to take. Okay, so you perceive reality according to your thoughts, emotions, feelings, beliefs, and actions. Okay, and so the difference between the real reality and your perception, okay, creates severity, anxiety, and depression. First of all, the issue of value, that people confuse spectacle and real essence, value, and worth. Okay, they think that spectacle is value. If I am peeling bananas, it creates ways that it is value. Okay, that's in my opinion, that exists because they are disconnected to the fourth chakra, and they don't actually realize that doesn't feed their soul, or they are not aware of their emotional needs that were not met in children, and they are being led, or it's not the manager of their personality is in charge. Okay, if they would be the manager of their personality in charge, they would immediately recognize instinctively the addiction and the conditioning and the effect that has in their personality. But because they are already in addiction and in condition from other things, they don't realize what's going on. Okay. Number 2, it is not real. The value I'm giving, it is an apparition. It is ephemeral. Okay. Again, it doesn't feed your soul. Okay. It doesn't. You know, I'm gonna give you an example. I'm gonna be a little mean, but I need to. When I watch a video from Sam Wagner, I am informed. Okay, he explains. First of all, I have to say I admire Sam Wagner's honesty. He's real. He's authentic. Okay, he says, "I'm this. I have this problem." And if you see his videos, he is extremely honest with his intimacy and with his private life. And you have to admit that he says, "This is the best I can give you. I know I'm disconnected with myself. I know I don't have my fourth chakra open. I wish I had. You know, it doesn't say it like that, but that's how I feel. You know, he's not pretending. He's not saying, "Oh, I'm better than you." He says that because of how I was educated, and how my life was ran, and because I'm very smart, my life is totally. It could be different the way it is, and I'm giving you the best I can do. Okay, and it's fair. When you watch the classes from Jordan Peterson, I mean, I ask myself, like, how intelligent do I have to be in order to follow this? Because it's not clear, you know. And I have a high IQ, you know. It's in order to it's annoying. I don't feel fat, and when I watch some Wagner video, I watch it once and it's clear, you know. And I can give you other examples. Okay, if the person doesn't express their ideas in a concise, go to the point without um, and something that I want to add about some Wagner is that he's not you know, he suffers from narcissistic personality disorder, you know, but he has learned not to show it, you know. And he speaks in a calm way, and you can hear the on the voice, because as an empath I can listen on the voice when it's the ego eating. And by Jordan Peterson, that's constantly, you know. Nevertheless, so going back to the point of discrepancy of the input of the environment, okay. Oh, and this thing that I just did about Jordan Peterson, I do this with everybody. I do it with my mother. I do it with my best friend. When I listen to the voice, the ego has to come down. So, you know, to my daughter, I know it. So I don't even need to. I also recognize when I am doing it as well. So going back to the summary is whenever there is a conflict between appearance and reality, this creates the strongest anxiety. We know this. It is when we are disoriented by the feedback from reality that runs contra the theory of the world, you know. 3. How sustainable is it? How long can I continue to peel bananas and attract 16.8 million people? The sustainability of the act, of the spectacle, is a crucial factor, because social media uses fickle and capricious, and they are nomads, okay. And he gives the Jordan Peters example, you know, that they are popular par hasard, you know. And then conditioning in action. So he explains that there was a psychological, I think he talks about it doesn't, he did say the name, but I think I didn't wrote it. There was a conditioning. Those he did in a university the example of the 3 group of students. One that they had to do something stupid, like find the G's on a sheet of paper. And when the teacher or the assistant of the professor accepted the paper and thank you very much, said thank you very much, you did a wonderful job, it's the like on Facebook. The other one was ignored. And the other one, just you take the paper and it's trashed. And the groups that were ignored and the paper was trashed, they stopped immediately the experiment, even though they were getting paid. And the first group, they keep on doing it just because they were being thanked. Okay, this is very basic, you know. This is being grateful for what people do. Okay. Yes. Okay. If it's this recognition hunger. Okay. So he explains that Byrne in 1967 wrote a book called Games People Played, okay? And he explains Sam Wagner explains this concept of recognition hunger. It's stroking, okay? We will go to any extreme to be recognized. Okay, that depends the conscience of the person. I agree with this because I have to. It's the majority of people, but these people most likely they've only analyzed men, and I would like to know how it is with people that have higher levels of consciousness and they have high levels of introspection capabilities. Okay, that's what I would like to know. And then he continues that Byrne moved the concept of recognition hunger to transaction analysis. Okay. And that the therapist strokes the narcissistic supply. I see you, I recognize you, your work is important, okay? And according to, the request of attention, the aggression will escalate until people are recognized or stroked. If I deny stroking, the aggression will escalate. Sam Wagner says this is such an old knowledge that he's utterly surprised that we are still discussing the psychology of social media. Yes, I understand this point. I'm also so surprised how come people not realize they are being fooled, but who am I? Byrne discovered that people that seek positive stroking but fail, they will revert soliciting negative stroking. They continue with what it works. Well, if they don't work on their shadow personality and if they don't have their higher self in command, of course this will work. I sincerely doubt that if the person has the full, is connected to herself, is in sacred union with herself, is extremely healthy, I doubt this would work. The problem is this works, or the issue works, because we are all adults, grown adults with wounded children. Okay. Basically, we are all fucked up. That's what it means. Child will try to get positive attention. If the mother only pays attention when the child breaks things, this will be the pattern. And Sam Wagner mentions that Jean Piaget explains exactly this. Okay? So, in social media, it's almost impossible to get positive stroking. Platforms are built to encourage competition, envy, aggression, negative stroking, trolling, bullying. If you get likes, the negative stroking will be self-generated because you will be competing against others, against yourself. The more strokes you get, the more you forget everything else. Abraham Marshall, Sam Wagner mentioned him, he did the pyramid of human needs. Okay? Belonging in love. And Sam Wagner explains that the concept that Marshall made for the concept of belonging in love, it sounds like narcissistic supply, coupled with the algorithm of social media. It is actually integrated yourself with the group so that the group provides confirmation of your worth. And Tony Roberts explains the 6 human needs. 2 of these needs are significance and love connection. The first one says that the love and connection originate significancy, but actually what it means is much closer to the banana peeling girl in Instagram adulation, admiration, popularity. You cannot feel significant how you influence the world. If you do not become popular, you cannot influence others, but describes in a way that is similar to likes on Instagram. I want to add that these psychologists, they are all men. They don't understand. Yeah, they don't understand. Or I feel they don't. That's what I feel. Because I don't identify with this. For me, personally, this is not love. Okay? This is love for me. It has to do decisions that you do every day, that at the end your conscience is clean, that your higher self, that your heart tells you you did a good job today, you behaved properly, and you answer with kind, you were kind, you were grateful, you have high vibrations, you spread good positive energy around you. This is for me my definition of love. Okay. I don't know if I would love to know if Sam Wagner can, or any other psychologist can answer this, because they talk about love as if love wouldn't be a wonderful thing, you know. Maybe it's done by default, and as we have seen, there are many taboos in psychology that we are not allowed to talk about, and in many other things. Okay. The damage is incalculable, okay, in human lives. Okay. And according to the fact that Facebook is by proxy killing people, okay, it's a taboo, okay, and people are tied to the money, you know, and as you know, the money system we live is a scam, okay. It's a loop system that we are the mice inside of this wheel, and we don't come out, okay. And the only thing we need to do is to stop consuming this type of goods. They are not good for you, okay. Social media triggers relative positioning and the leverage of negative emotions. Envy, it's abusive, it's trauma bonding, okay. If we shift how we perceive social media, we can help people to choose not to know. Okay, basically we are in this triangle: victim, prosecutor, perpetrator. Okay, the only and Sam Wagner and the parliament, they behave as if the people are infants and they are not able to decide what they want to do with their lives. Remove yourself from social media. Remove all the seeking attention, you know, because when I have my phone, I don't have notifications. I forbid all the notifications. I don't even go to the mobile phone anymore, you know. I don't like to be disturbed, you know. There was a point that my child was constantly asking me questions, and I started calculating was every 7 minutes. I said, this is awful. I don't want that. And when I used to live with my mother, it was awful. She didn't leave me alone for a second. She didn't. It was, pay attention to this, pay attention to that. No. You can't go to a deep thought or a deep meditation mode or feeling good, you know. You always have to pay attention to her. So, and then Sam Wagner continues. Ask the question, do you think that, to ask a survey to people, do you think that social media is a drug? Most people will say no, okay, because they don't understand. They don't really pay attention, okay. Do you think social media is abusive? Do you think you are being abused by social media? Okay. Social media encourage how plastic defenses. It is not your instrument. It's how you use it, even though the instrument is built to be used in a specific way, to condition and to condition you, to create addiction, to go to the shadow side of the first three chakras: envy, bullying, trolling, all those drama, confusion, you know, spinning, anxiety. Social media is like a knife, okay, and the knife was not made to cut bread, but to kill you, to do something else. Okay. Yes, this is done. I'm done with the summary, and I've already done my opinions in the middle. Okay, and I can repeat the reason why it's not clear. It's not clear. I've never heard somebody saying that. Okay, only Peter Garlick on his website, on his presentations on YouTube. He died in 2015. He said. And I know that because of other presentations from other extraordinary people. We are all grown adults with wounded children. So we have the inner child, the playful child, that's the desire. We are disconnected from this feeling of love. Okay, we forgot how the playful child enjoys the moment and desires to do something positive. Okay, and the wounded child is so sad, and we don't. It's so sad. It's so hurtful. It's so sensitive, and the society is done in a way that we are not blossoming. We are not sharing our gifts and talents with the world. The only thing we are doing is playing these games of the first three chakras that are masculine. Okay? In order to drive, in order to blossom, you need to open the fourth chakra, and you need to scrub in your psyche all the negative emotions. And only when you have the master or the manager of your personality in charge, that in the tarot cards it is the king and the queen, and later is the emperor and the empress. You have the left side, the thinking, the mind thinking, the intuition working, the electricity and the magnetism, and your fourth chakra opening. And then to move from this to the magician, or to the high priestess, you need to have the fourth chakra open, and means that all the negative energy is clean from your Taurus field. Okay, it means that you have forgiven and forgot everything that has been done to you. It means that you are connected always to the source. It means that you understand how to have in unison your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, in order to create a better future. Okay, and spread the love. Okay, because it seems the word love is also a taboo. Okay, thank you very much, and have a nice day, and talk to you later. Bye.